Hello and welcome to the Bodysurf podcast with your budgie boy, just Tim here this week. It's another episode of Between the Sets and we're doing things a little bit different because last night I realised that Rowan Arneal's Fringe show starts tomorrow. So I put up that episode early so you can all go and buy tickets to that. And this is Between the Sets. So the episode numbers are going to look weird on whatever podcast app you're streaming this on. But we're back on track. And we've got a very special co-host helping us out with this episode of Between the Sets. It's Jeremy Weiner. How you doing, mate?
Hey, Timmy. I am doing really well. I'm pretty excited for the weekend that's coming up.
Oh, man. We got to talk about the Festival of Froth very, very soon. I'm very keen to get up to Avalon this weekend for 2 days, which is very exciting. I must confess, I've only ever surfed Avalon once, so I'm not that familiar with it. But man, it's a fun looking beach.
I was out there on Sunday, and the banks are good. Out in front of the clubhouse at the south end. I did venture across to Little Ave. I was a little bit late. Richie was already halfway across the bay. And I followed somebody out around the rocks. I haven't done the rock swim before. Normally go off the end of the pool and swim across. It's a little bit pelagic. I don't feel totally at ease when I'm swimming across there. I like to get across to the break, but nothing's happened yet. But it was okay across there. Little Avalon has got a really nice right-hander. It's a reef break, very consistent, and it really lifts.
We had Jared Bridges on a few weeks ago, and he was talking up Little Ave a lot, and he's been trying to get me out there.
He shreds it.
I'm so keen to go. Oh my gosh, I'm just getting excited thinking about it. I must confess, I've got to make some apologies. We had you on the podcast a while ago. I think it was at Womp Camp 2 years ago with your good mate Richie. And everyone warned us before you guys came in. They go, Richie's very softly spoken. Just watch your mic levels. So I was fiddling with buttons that whole interview. And I don't know what happened, but I think I had Richard's mic off the whole interview. And that's why the audio is so bad. It wasn't actually Richard's soft voice. He was speaking very well. I stuffed up that audio so bad and spent about a few hours, a couple of days maybe even, trying to fix that audio. So I'd like to get Rich back on to have another chat soon if he's available.
He's definitely a man worth talking to. He's got lots of stories.
He's got a lot of great stories, and I'd really like to talk to him a bit more. And Womp Camp episodes aren't as fun as coming to the studio. They're a little bit rogue. There's often an audience, which it makes me feel uncomfortable when you're trying to record an intimate podcast and there's a bunch of people lurking around. Sometimes people are cooking dinner, making a tea. It's very interruptive.
Very
so
cash.
I prefer shutting the door, hitting record, and just having a bit of a yarn one-on-one, or sometimes we have a few people on the podcast. But today it's just you and me, mate, and this is going to be good. Let's talk about the Festival of Froth. It's this Saturday and Sunday, the 9th and 10th of September 2023, Avalon Beach. It's an official competition. Tell us about how official this bad boy is.
Well, this is the second Australian-run IBSA, International Body Surfing Association, World Cup or World Championship qualifying heats event. There's a world tour, and you got to say, we are. I guess we're now a sister event to the Wedge, and that's been going for 3 years now. Sort of kicked off by Darren and Linda up there, and with the financial support of Dave Archer from Garage, and it's just gone from strength to strength. And this year, they really set history, and which was to have the IBSA on the Friday, and then the Wedge on the Saturday and Sunday. And Richie, Marv's, we shared a unit up there, had a great view of the beach. And, the good thing about going to these competitions, it's much less about the competition than about the camaraderie and the people. I think my network of friends has grown probably 3 times what I have from just normal life. There's no other thing that I do in my life or have done in my life where I've made friends quicker than taking part in and meeting people out in the surf. But going to, the Wedge was the start of it. Now, the Wedge this year, they set history because they started the world tour for the IBSA. They were the first one. They kicked off here in Australia. Marv's, Richie and I said, this is a great feeling. We don't do anything like this in Sydney. There is the ABC, which I'm looking forward to, in Kiama the week after next. But the did I say ABSA? Or ABC. No, I got it right. Yeah. And but we didn't have anything in Sydney, and there has been things in the past, but there's nothing now. So we said, well, it was a bit of a brain fart. Let's run a competition. Yeah. Nothing to it. I stayed. Our flight was out late on the Monday after the Wedge. Went and had lunch with Linda, one of the organisers, and I asked her, like, what does it take to run the competition? Can I have a look at the P&Ls? What do you have to do? What's the run sheet? So I did have an idea by the time I got back to Sydney as to what to expect, and then reached out to Don McCready, legendary Don. Said, want to run a competition, think about doing Avalon. What do you think? He said, definitely do it. I'm not going to have anything to do with it, but I'll give you all the support you need. And he's done exactly that. Called Dave Archer. Yeah, you should do it. I don't want anything to do with it. I'll step right back. And he's right up to his neck in it, of course. I've dragged him in. Yeah. So it's going to be a really good competition. We've had really good support from the suppliers. We've got War, Slide, DMC, Garage, I guess in retirement. Riptech is Dave's business. But also Bendigo Bank have jumped on board.
They do a lot of great local community stuff.
Absolutely, yeah.
And also, is local council involved as well?
Absolutely, yeah. That was another learning curve. Put together a 20-hour grant application. So they are providing our surf safety to professional lifeguards for the weekend. As well as assisting us with making the park available next to the surf club. Yeah. And we've also got Surfers for Climate coming down. Yeah. They're setting up the tent. They're going to be there to chat about what they do and how we can be involved. We swim in the oceans. They want to put platforms off the Sydney beaches. We don't want that to happen. We don't want it to be like the east coast of or the west coast of California. And they're doing a great job. They're raising awareness, and they're putting on a film on up in the ocean room upstairs at Avalon Surf Club on the Friday night. Yeah, that's I'm having a brain study here. I can't remember the name of the film. Do you remember what it is?
Is it the same one they're showing?
Yes.
The night before the ABC as well?
Yeah. We're going to keep it a mystery. You have to turn up to see it.
We'll just
Come hell or high water. Yes, we'll remember it eventually. Yeah.
I thought maybe we'll just show one of my short films.
Is that you doing stage presence?
Sure.
You can fill in for us.
So let's go back a little bit and talk about that trip to California that you and Rich went on.
Never happened.
It never happened?
No, Rich and I have never been to California. I went to California.
Because it was sort of, you were doing some work stuff over there or something, and you were able to just sneak over and check out the comp. Yep. So that was just a great coincidence, great timing. I'm not sure how that all played out. But did you get into the water over there?
Yeah. So I have flexibility about how I organise my work trips. I work hard, and then I reward myself if there's a body surfing opportunity. And the last couple of years, I've sort of organised to do it. I saw that the what they call the World Bodysurfing Championships was being run at Oceanside. That's sort of Southern California, north of south of LA, north of San Francisco. Big pier, and they run at both sides of the pier. You're not allowed to shoot the pier.
Yeah.
And through the network, Dave put me in touch with Vince. Vince is a local down at Del Mar, said, come down, we'll take you out. We're doing a lunch for vets. Come down and join us for a body surf with some vets a couple of days before the comp. So, another crew that I'm now networked in with and official member of the Del Mar body surfing, because I surfed with them at Del Mar. And then went to the Oceanside, and wow, they got about 400 contestants, 2 heats going at one either side of the pier for a couple of days, and managed to get through to the semis. I think there was about 30 something in my 55 to 65 age group.
Wow.
It was big, and got through to the final 12.
How exciting.
I was really happy with it.
Yeah.
So got to swim 4 times.
Did you venture out and check out some other spots?
That's it so far. I've done a little bit. I went to the Wedge once.
Did you jump in?
No, it was rubbish.
Oh,
it was really
okay. Dangerous.
Really
dangerous. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And it was messy,
Okay.
and I was warned off.
Yeah.
They said, if you do go in, we'll be here to save you. But
that sounds reassuring.
yeah. And then one of the fellas behind me just tapped me on the shoulder, said, "Where are you from?" Told him, and he said, "Look, go up to Pier 36. It's going to be your part 36." And he actually gave us a lift up there and said, "You'll have a better body surf here." Yeah.
Nice. So you flew back to Sydney. On the plane, you're probably jotting down all these ideas and notes, and then you come up with this idea of running a comp in Avalon, making it as official as possible, and it looked super, super official. I mean, I've been speaking to people, and I've been looking on your website, which is amazing, and seeing all the sponsors jump on board and having the accreditation from the IBSA. It's looking really schmick, and I'm just wondering if you can talk us through a little bit about how the weekend's going to look.
So the weekend is going to look very organised. We've got 3 professional judges on board. We had the option just to have them for the IBSA on the Saturday, but we've kept them on for the Sunday to get consistency. We'll be running to IBSA rules as far as the judging goes on the for the IBSA. Maybe a little bit more flexible on the Sunday if we're riding the foams, but it's looking like there'll be plenty of waves on both days.
Great.
There's going to be we've got the grass area off to the side of the southern side of the Avalon, where it's going to be people can set up their own marquees. We'll have a few of our marquees set up for registration and for presentations on the second day. There'll be the Surfers for Climate. There'll also be a local mob from Bush to Bowl with some native plants, talking native food, bush essences, and they're also doing the catering for our buffet dinner on the in the evening.
On the Saturday night?
Yep. And so Saturday is just going to be some serious competition. We've got 28 competitors.
Yeah.
And those and the top 14 go through to compete for the final 8 places in the semis, and then final 4 in the finals. And the bottom 14 compete for their places, so everybody gets 2 swims.
Yeah.
The good ones go on to get 3 or 4 swims.
Yeah.
There's people flying in from and driving in from all over the state and interstate. We've got some great names turning up.
I am registered to compete on that day. Am I out of place?
No, absolutely not. This is all about putting a hat in a ring. you can take off. You can do a spin, maybe a porpoise. How's your stamina?
I've been doing a lot of swim training, so I've been doing a fair few laps every night. I have also got football fever. I mean, we've been watching the Matildas.
Yes.
We've been watching the lead up to the NRL Grand Final. We've been watching a bit of sport here and there. And I've been going to the park for a kick here and there. And I've noticed that there's a big difference between water fitness and land fitness.
There is.
Yeah, because I was struggling to have a run, but I'm gliding through the water with ease.
Excellent.
So I think I'll be all right. After this, I'll go do 30 laps and practice my spins and then have a spa. And we've got a couple of days of preparation left. So I think my fitness will be all right. It's the kookiness I'm worried about.
I think you could get your kook on.
Yeah, good. Now, you mentioned there's 28 in that Saturday comp. Any big names? Anyone we're allowed to drop?
Jared Bridges.
Yeah.
Yep. There's Kai coming down. He took out the 2 events up at the Wedge. We have. I haven't been doing the rosters. That's all been Darren and Dave, so not familiar with the names as much. But yeah, we've got some of the Cobras coming up.
Oh, awesome.
Corey's registered. Yep.
Ricky?
So Ricky, he's competing in Northern Beaches.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
What does that mean? Sorry.
So that's the next day.
So that's the unofficial comp.
That's not qualifying you for placings.
And that's got some more categories.
Yeah, that's right. That's all age divisions now.
Yeah.
So he's gone in opens. That's my chosen event is the next day. Tribal Elders. I am the second oldest competitor in this year's comp, which I'm proud of, but I'm a bit disappointed. I thought we'd get. I know there's a lot of crusties on the Northern Beaches who have skills. Maybe they'll come next year. We're really hoping that we can open this up so we've got from 13 to 80 next year.
Yeah, for sure.
Would be the go.
There's a bunch of blokes that surf in Cronulla. They're called the all-season body surfers. And they've got the best merch in the game. Some of the coolest jackets, hoodies, shirts. I think they've got some swimwear as well. And they go out with no gear. They might have some flippers here and there. But they're pushing maybe 60, 70, 80.
Yeah.
And they get in every Saturday, rain, hail, shine. I've seen them just jump in and get out a few times.
Yep.
But I'd like to see some more people like that involved, especially in official stuff like this. Because there's heaps of people that get in the water.
That was the real vibe that we were trying to get. And, we did vote on it early on as to whether we were going to go with IBSA and like make that one more competitive. We've been really clear on the website that, there's 2 events. You can enter one or the other.
Yeah, okay.
And that, like, if you're not so serious, but you don't mind competing, and you want to meet people and just have fun, a bit of high five during the heats, etc., that's the MBBS, the Northern Beaches Body Surfers event. It's open to all comers. It's not just Northern Beaches, but we did want to have it sort of labelled as a Northern Beaches event. And then the IBSA, that's where people are going to take it a little bit more seriously. But still, I expect that it'll be done in really good spirit because, let's face it, it's body surfing. We don't count for much anywhere. Yeah. It's more about the spirit and getting in and getting out there and doing whatever you can in that 3 to 6 seconds you have on the wave.
Yeah. Are we expecting a big crowd for the Saturday comp? Seeing as there's only going to be 28 competitors, do you think people will get around them?
Look, I'll be interested to see what the crowd is. Everybody tends to bring family and supporters, but there is another event going on at the same time, which is one of the reasons we chose Avalon. Because we're not tied to any beaches, the Northern Beaches Body Surfers. We go where the wind and swell takes us. But Avalon had a special place, and when you go there, when you see it, firstly, it is a magical beach. It's got 2 headlands. We're not competing at at Little Avalon. That will still be available for body surfers to go out there and in their free time whilst they're waiting around. I hope it turns on for them. And there's also North Avalon, which is only a short walk up the beach, so there's plenty of breaks. But at Avalon, there's also another event, which is the Gotcha for Life 24-hour row. And Avalon the Avalon Beach Surf Lifesaving Club, they have been first at doing a lot of things. I think they were the first to do a longboard competition. But they had a tragedy a few years ago where a couple of, I think in the same year, two young men took their own lives. And as a result of that, there was a movement to see how young men can get more support. From that, there was they found that I hope that I get this right. They found that there was Gotcha for Life, which was set up to support and provide education and support and tools for young people to cope. And in order to bring some focus to Avalon, instead of starting up their own charity, they started off the 24-hour row. And a few of them got together and they on rowing machines, and they start at midday and they will go all night till midday on Sunday. And so that started off with just them at Avalon. Now it's a national event. It all started at Avalon, and so we're putting and directing people to support the Avalon branch of a team that are competing as rowing in the Gotcha for Life.
Yeah.
Because it's got so many alignments, the way that they support people.
I should just mention the founder of Gotcha for Life, Gus Warland, is an absolute top bloke. And I would love to see him in the water body surfing. I've seen him in a pair of sluggos before, and I think he's a great advocate for men's mental health, and I think we need to get him involved in body surfing somehow. So Gus Warland, if you're listening, or if you're going to be at Avalon on Saturday, I think we got to hit him up and try and get him in the water, because he'd be huge for the body surfing community.
We will set him up with some gear,
yes.
And we'll get one of our sponsors, Budgie Smugglers, to give him some concealment.
Yeah,
and off he goes.
Yeah, he's an absolute legend, top bloke, and he does whatever he can to support causes like this. So that sounds amazing. And have we got any? Has the Festival of Froth got any kind of official capacity when it comes to sort of fundraising and helping out with this charity?
Yeah, so we are directing any charity to go towards them. We're running this as a not-for-profit. If there's any surplus, and it's really line ball at the moment, so it's been supported by some of our committee have chipped in. I know I've bought a couple of extra T-shirts and a couple of extra dinners myself. So just to get the funding across the line. But we don't want we don't want charity ourselves. If there's any donations to be done, we want it directed to the Gotcha for Life Avalon team. And we'll have QR codes up around the place. And you can actually go upstairs during the day. The Avalon team will be rowing in the Bangalay bar, which is upstairs. This is a superb bar, and it has perfect view over the competition area.
Yeah,
and so go up, support the team. But if you're bad, we've also done a deal with Dad and Dave's Brewing in Brookvale, so local business. Budgie Smugglers, a local business. Dad and Dave's, local business. They're stocking the fridge at Avalon at the bar, behind the bar, and any Dad and Dave beverages that are bought during the Saturday will be supporting the Gotcha for Life and just helping us to cover some of our costs.
Yeah, lovely. I just love when stuff like this all comes together, and it sounds like you've done such an amazing job from conceiving the idea on a little work trip to California to coming back and letting this thing absolutely rip. All the sponsors that have got involved, all the committee members, all the organisers, all these people that have put it together, it just seems like it's perfection. And I'm really looking forward to the day when people see that a 2-day Bodysurf comp is running. I think a lot of people are thinking, oh, there's going to be a waiting period. But there's going to be none of that.
No, it's just 15-minute heats.
Yeah. It's just Saturday, we're having a crack, and then Sunday is going to be hopefully a bit more fun and chill. And I guess Saturday is going to be fun and chill as well. Yeah. So I'm really, really looking forward to it. Get down to Avalon Saturday, the 9th of September and the 10th. Do you think a lot of people do both days, come and watch one or the other? Or
well, I know my family will.
Yeah.
Even though I'm not competing on the Saturday, but there's going to be a really high caliber on the Saturday, and then there's going to be high caliber. Richie's not competing in the IBSA.
Oh, okay.
He's going masters.
Yeah.
We've got some good strong competition in the people that don't want to try and get to Hawaii next year. But you mentioned the committee, and we, this went from embryo stage, really in after the wedge. So when was that? That was March, and we've sort of pulled it together. We've got a signal group just for the committee. And we separated that out of the Northern Beaches body surfers, and when we say, well, what should we call ourselves on the signal group? It's called Suckers for Punishment. And I tell you, it's the most regular signal group going ping on my phone almost all day, every day. But most teams, they go through this phase of storming, norming, then performing. We didn't do the storming. We're coming from a common place. We all wanted to make it work. Everybody sort of slotted into the area where they were good at, and it's just I'm just sort of really delighted with the way that it's come together. The question went around at one of the meetings, who's going to be president? Everybody stepped back, and I was too slow. So I took on that responsibility, and it's been a delight, really. Hard work. It's taken a lot of time.
Yeah.
There's been hours and hours and hours and hours go into it, and I wouldn't have been able to really get anywhere without really having the guidance. And I'd really like to do a special call out. We've got a great team, but I'm doing a special call out to Darren. Darren from the Wedge. It's not his competition, but he's called this his sister competition, and I'm sure he won't mind me saying he's got some health challenges at the moment, and he'll be first one to say, put sunscreen on, boys and girls, because it can bite you on the arse. But he's coming down, so say good day to Darren. I would really suggest that take your mic when you set up and get him whilst he's in town, because it's hard for him to get down here into your studio. So
do you know how long he's here for?
Sunday or Monday. So he's down for the whole comp. But bring your gear. We'll find a quiet room for you.
That might be the hard part, finding a quiet corner.
Yeah.
That's great. That's really good. One final thing before we wrap up, Jeremy. When competitions happen, there's a lot of chatter about what size a hand plane or a handboard is allowed to be. What is the official IBSA ruling on this?
I sent it out in an email today.
Oh, good. It's official, people.
Okay, yeah, and without looking at the email, I can't recall, but it's in the rules, the IBSA rules. Actually, IBSA is a no hand plane event. No hand planes.
Okay.
It's
so the Saturday, hand planes.
It's a natural event. Yep.
Great.
Okay. Whereas the Northern Beaches comp, you can use a hand plane, and we sent out an email today just specifying. But
what time did that email come through, by the way?
That went through at about 10:15 this morning.
Oh, okay. I completely missed that one because I did a quick trip back to the Shire to grab some hand planes. So could have saved myself a trip if I knew that. If I was competing in Sunday, I would be able to use all my gear. But you know me, I'm not much of a hand plane person anyway. So that's gonna.
I think it gives you more freedom.
That's going to be really fun. Okay, that's very, very interesting. And maybe that's the reason. Yeah. There's a different kind of crew in that 28 competing on the Saturday. Yeah, and
there's been a little bit of chatter around, why can't I go in both? It's a 2-day event. I want to go in both. And at Wedge you could. That was one of the sort of votes that we had early on. This is our first year running, okay? We took on the IBSA. We could have just made this a 1-day Northern Beaches event. But the option was there, and really Sydney hadn't. A lot of people in Sydney who were competing on Saturday in the IBSA didn't get the opportunity to go to the Wedge. They couldn't get there. It's travel, and But this is giving them a chance to take part in the qualifiers. So, if we'd opened it up to having options in both, then we couldn't have done it in 2 days, or we're already doing about 45 heats over the 2 days. It would have just exploded those. You can imagine, and so we just wouldn't have been able to do it. So then it would have been a 3-day event. We thought first year we're not going to get the funding. We're just not going to be able to do
doing it on a Friday or a Monday. It's a bit
always
tricky.
dodgy.
Yeah. How many are in the Sunday? How many competitors have you got for the Sunday?
So all up on Sunday we've got about 40.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So that's going to
38 to 40.
That's going to be a big old fun day. Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, good stuff. Congratulations. Well done. You're doing so much for the community. I think the reason that you're not having any sort of major issues with your organisers and committee members and sponsors and all that is because you're just given so much back. And as you mentioned, you're not doing this for any particular reason except to give back to the body surfing community, to put body surfing on the map in Australia. You're the only IBSA competition in Australia.
No wedges one.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, we let's make them sister comps.
Yeah. Sure. Alrighty. Well, this has been great. I'm super, super pumped up. It's come around so quickly. And then, as you mentioned at the top of the episode, the biggest team comp in Australia will be the following weekend. So it's
ABC.
It's a big.
I booked my accommodation.
It's a big fortnight in the body surfing calendar. So Avalon in New South Wales, up the northeast coast, and then we'll be heading down the south coast to Kiama for the Australian Body Surf Classic. So it's all happening here within the body surfing community over the next fortnight. Jeremy Wine, thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you Saturday.
Thank you, Timmy.
Oh, we better do the sign off. We got to get out of here, but remember,
it's always overhead when you're body surfing.
Bye.